Hello there! Once again, Santown from Matano Bay, and it is Sunday morning. Time to go through a short box of comics in a relatively short time. Um, if I get up really early, sometimes it is easy to put one of these videos out, and sometimes if I run a little later in the day, it's a little bit harder. And I was up late, had a terrible headache. My son Alistair made a lot of noise last night, but all in all, yeah, a little bit of a rough start to the Sunday morning here. Anyway, we're starting this box off with Fantagore Press, a Rip in Time, and these are amazing. This is a Richard Corbin art. He did amazing stuff, and I lucked into these. I think I found them at some it wasn't a comic book store, but like a flea market. They were like a couple bucks each. So I feel like I got a great deal on those. If I remember right, that's where I got these. It's kind of a blur. But yeah, I mean, you can look at it. Just look at the art. Richard Corbin stuff is just extreme. Got a little lot of Eternity Comics here. Classic Girls. This would be Lester Girls, the Trouble with Girls detective guy. And this is just a mini series from Eternity that I bought. It's been a few years back. Picked it up for less than $1 an issue. I remember I got a heck of a deal on these. But I do love Eternity Comics, and I always try and pick them up when I find them. Just a thing. Yeah, the more I get into like different brands, you know, of manufacturer, I always appreciate it. We've got Dawn #1. This is a set I used to have. I think I did a flip through on these. Like, we went through these. Dawn 1 through 6, I believe it is. Very bizarre art, very, very cryptic and strange, ethereal stories and stuff like that. But most of what sold it was not the strange stories that nobody really understood, but the amazing art, which was both very ugly and very beautiful at the same time. So I always thought that was what sold the series and really made it distinct, is it has a very otherworldly feel to it. Very good stuff. And then I came across this. I just did a video on this just recently. This got tossed into a box. It turns out to be this box. So I'm going to just go ahead and put that right back in there. If you want to know more about what that was, it's a fundraiser comic for retired artists. I recently saw a deal where it turns out most, at least in this article headline, most fast food employees make more money than a comic book artist does. So that was really sad. This I picked up from a garage sale. It's got signatures on it. This is from my neighbor Andy. It had a $100 price tag on it. I don't know if he was going to get that. But just for some neighborly reasons, he gave me this. So I didn't have to pay $100 for that. That was a gift. I'm super pleased with it. I believe it's an art germ. But I grabbed quite a few of the really good, what I consider the really good Supergirl covers, because I am a big Supergirl fan. And I love the look, love everything. And I thought these covers came out really well. It's almost sad because you're going to open it and the art inside is going to be a vast disappointment from what was on the cover. But that is how it is. This is a Street Fighter and Friends swimsuit special. Came across it at a local comic book store and I was like, that's ridiculous, but I'm going to buy it. How to Steal an Election Before Somebody Else Does. I don't really know what the slant on this book is. It just had a funny title to it. I thought that was a cute name. It's a first issue. I grabbed it. It's a modern book. It's not really my thing, I don't think. But for having a clever title, I did buy it. So Jungle Comics number 6. This is some sort of, it's more of a modern jungle title book, but the art inside looks way better than the art on the cover. I was okay with it. I couldn't believe it was a $9 cover price, and this came in a lot of other things that I paid basically 50 cents for it. These are where my Grimm's Fairy Tales got piled into, my Zenescope stuff. Been actually very much enjoying tracking down a few of these Zenescope titles. This is a Zenescope Grimm's Fairy Tales 2024 swimsuit issue, which is kind of funny that they still do that. No, most titles don't. Like Marvel used to do that. Now nobody does that. Grimm's Fairy Tales 2023, the Armed Forces edition. Which, it's kind of just a series of various pinups for different parts of the armed services, which I thought was pretty neat. Cheerleaders from Hell. This was a single shot. This is Caliber Press. They never made it. They never printed any more of these, but this is one of those really odd titles that you should just find somewhere. A bunch of cheerleaders, I think, get trapped by Satan and get superpowers from him, and then they escaped, and then they have powers, and now they fight demons. Basically, Spawn with cheerleaders. This one comes first. This is Lone Star Press, Amazon number 1. That is not the name of the book, though. It's actually called Heroic Tales, featuring Amazon. So it's this big Amazon woman who doesn't. It's basically Encino Man in the modern era, and I got a couple issues of it. Found them in local bins. Something I definitely want to find more of, but they're very hard and very expensive to locate. PC Comics, and yeah, this falls under Pacific. I actually found a very similar company called PC that stood for Pocket Change Comics, and I was confused by that. But a book called Vanity number 1, and also Vanity number 2. That's all they ran of these. It was a very short-lived series, but very odd, worth checking out. That's the kind of stuff I was always looking for, was that stuff. I got Wally Wood's Thunder Agents issue number 4, and Wally Wood Thunder Agents issue number 5. Of course, Wally Wood stuff is always fantastic. It's always space, almost always space themed. Beautiful monsters and things like that. Another title I always grab when I see it, Xenozoic Tales. This is issue number 8. It's Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. And it features Hannah Dundee, one of my favorite, well, definitely one of my favorite absolute 5-point action figures ever made was the Hannah Dundee figure. Just a beautiful thing. Border Guard, issue number 1, Eternity Press. Grabbed that at the local comic book store. It's been a few months back. Pen Apocalypse number 1. I grabbed that as well. Wasn't terribly impressed. Innovation Comics, the Equinox Chronicles. I always, like I said, guys, I'm looking for this kind of stuff. It's just odd. Equinox Chronicles 2. That's all they made of it. It was a short run. I found one issue of this many years ago, and then I had to track down the full series. Had it for a long time. Never really done much on it, but I probably should. Morning Glory the Fairy. It's by Radio Comics. It's kind of got anime art style to it. Very quirky. Well, fairy driven. What do you want me to say? But it was a series, ran 6 issues. I came in at this issue number 4, and thought it was a beautiful cover, and of course wanted to finish out the series, but it did take me a long time to locate these and purchase them. Issue number 6. Looks like this box has also absorbed an issue of Conan 197. Aircell because I love me some Aircel. Samurai, issue number 4. A different issue 4. Yeah. Issue 12. You can see this has got Coaz used stickers on them. That would be where I picked these up. 2 in a 6-part series. Different artists than I normally see on Aircel, but very similar in style. Of course, I remember I picked this one up there as well. Chaos, The Crusaders. This would be a Christian comic publishing company, very much like Chick. In fact, I'll bet you, yes, this is put up by Chick Publications. If you guys are familiar with Chick Tracts and their impact with comic books, very, very kind of scary, creepy little comic propaganda things that are highly questionable. Not a big fan of them, but also yet kind of a fan of just tracking them down. Hamster Vice, Conan issue number 2. This is a newer Conan than I would normally get, but it's a Linzer cover. Same guy who did the Dawn books. Conan the Barbarian number 1. These are ones that I would have had in the comic haul not that long ago. 192, 140. Like I've said, not the biggest Conan fan. He's a hard guy to like. But the more I keep looking at the covers and the artwork for the book, and more of the sword and sorcery barbarian type titles, which I seem to be in kind of a mood for lately, I have picked up a lot of books like this. I just got a big pile of Warlords recently. Been enjoying very much. Looks like Shauna the She-Devil, issue number 3. These were Frank Cho books. They're fantastic. The regular Shauna the She-Devil, I don't think was... This one was good. I'm trying to think. I think it was Survival of the Fittest was one I really, really liked. The miniseries. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was this one. But, sorry for the glare there. Gorgeous covers. Yeah, I think it was Survival of the Fittest. This is a trade, but I also have it in its individual forms, and probably several different copies of it, because I thought it was a really great series. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. Very little, like, words, writing. Most of the story told just really, really beautifully with a lot of action, running, fleeing, and fighting dinosaurs. One of those weird Dynamite Betty Page books. This is issue number 4. This is it without the blank cover version. Some of these were good. Some of these were not. Betty Page issue number 1. Most of them were a good cover sell, but like the interiors and the plot stuff was very odd. And I always kind of wondered, how do you get the rights to Betty Page and just make her a comic book character? Issue number 4. I also feel like some of the art really looks like her, and some of the art is terrible. It's like this modern, let's just take a 2020 Instagram girl and just call her Betty Page. I'm like, no, that's not what she looks like. There's actually some character to that face, and you should draw it. There's also some curves and imperfections on that body. You should draw those too. It should not just be a generic skinny comic book girl. Been my take on it. Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, predates Shauna. I always love this weird painted style cover, fighting the alligator. Better than I like these kind of covers, the glossy, oversimplified stuff. Although if you would make a Jungle Girl title and do the entire thing with the Archie House style, I would read that. That would be awesome. Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. Got a pretty good run of Jungle Girl titles. It's always been a thing I've enjoyed. And these are from DDP, which is, if I remember correctly, Devil's Due Publishing. So if you ever see that, it's Devil's Due Publishing. A company I was not familiar with at all. I don't know. I think Sheena went into public domain a while back, and that's why they've got it. Judge Dredd Crime Files, issue number 1. Tale of Two Cities, issue number 6. This is would be one of the classics illustrated. Six String Samurai, done by Rob Liefeld. I feel like a different artist should have probably done it, but the fact that he loved the movie enough to make a comic of it, I was very pleased with. If you've never seen the movie, go find it. It's a very odd little title about basically Buddy Holly in the post-apocalypse wasteland fighting Russians and death. The Job, issue number 1, 2, 3. This is actually a really good comic about a rookie on her first call out, I guess. How to deal with different things like that. My leg has fallen asleep. Wanderers number 10. Jaguar Annual number 1. It looks like a full run here. I've got Jaguar issue number 1. This is an Impact title that I really do enjoy. It's kind of a She-Hulk type thing where she can turn into this jaguar and she goes and fights crime at night. But it's done really well, and I like stuff by Impact. I like that it hasn't gotten really expensive, and you can still close out and get complete series for less than $1 an issue. And this one I've recommended it a lot of times, but it's just worth getting. I've probably got a couple different copies of the run just because I pick them up whenever I see them, because I'm like, you know what, I really love those. I like that title. And like I said, they're cheap, and why not? That's what comics should be. They should be easily accessible and inexpensive. I don't like, if your book is like super outrageously expensive and I gotta track it down and pay a ton for it, I'm way less likely to want it. For me, it's always been about comics should be cheap. They should be easy for a kid to get. They should be easy to read. You know what I mean? Lady Arcane issue number 1. These, I will tell you, were not easy to get. They weren't expensive. And I'm always glad when they're not expensive. But some of these obscure titles, I did spend a lot of time and energy just looking for, to see if I could find them. And sometimes you got to find them online. Sometimes you can't even find them online. Here's Enozoic Tales number 7. Beautiful cover. The Inhumans number 1. Or the New Humans number 1. This is the same universe as the X-Mutants, or what they began calling the Shattered Earth Chronicles, which was a book in of itself. And it's just it's a post-apocalypse mutant nightmare world. Wild Nights, they started actually calling it the Shattered Earth Chronicles, putting that into things there. That's one of the worst covers ever. Creepy, very, very creepy. But yeah, these were old Eternity stuff. Eventually Malibu got a hold of it, and they just proceeded with the X-Mutants, and that was the only thing that was published from it. But I have strived to get as much of the Shattered Earth saga as possible, and I do have quite a bit of it. Not all of it, of course, but I have a lot of Shattered Earth, X-Mutants, New Humans, stuff like that. I always love this cover because the world's being blown up. Mutants. Mutants, Charles. E-Man, number 2. Savage Tales one-shot. Winter special. Flops over there. Dynamite Comics, John Carter's Warlords of Mars. Well, it just says of Mars. John Carter of Mars. But it's a Linzer cover. I always like Linzer covers. Draculina Blood Sample. E-Man number 2. Then it's just an odd, random, mass-marketed issue of Thor in this whole box of craziness. An issue of Damage Control number 4. Should be a full series of that floating around in here somewhere. Ghost Rider number 2. Uncanny Avengers. See, this kind of stuff, I don't even want it. It seems like I have it, but I'm like, I don't want it. This, I like this. A dollar cover of Thor. It's $4.16. This era, copper stuff, bronze era, love it. The Ferret, issue number 1, Malibu title. What do we got here? Wonder Man number 1, I always thought was a great cover. A Free Comic Book Day Ninja Turtles, which I'm sure probably sucks. Ultra Klutz, issue number 1. It's not the first issue, but it's one of them. Issue number 2. If you love Ultraman, if you love like quirky spoof titles, these are great. They really are. Jeff Nicholson, check out his channel. He's got a few short cartoons of Ultra Klutz. They're really great. Published by Onward Comics, a little private company. Good stuff. Genesis, the Ferret. Man of War. John Sable, some random First stuff. Warp, which I did a whole comic book video series on, covering every issue. Eclipse's Luger. It seems like some of these in the back, the Wanderers, number 6, collects, like whenever you get like what you want in a box, and then you end up just grabbing kind of like miscellaneous titles to fill the box so they don't fall over. That's what I often wind up with. Wanderers number 8. I love Wanderers covers. I've really been warming up to some of DC's 80s and 90s stuff that was non-mainstream. Like they did a lot of great Barbarian titles or Magic titles and stuff like that. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. 3001 Guardians of the Galaxy. What the? Wolverine on the cover. Back off, you hosers. Judge Dredd issue number 3. Number 2. This is when it's by DC. I feel like if it's good, it'll be published by Eagle. I never really messed with the modern DC stuff on it. The old Eagle stuff had this creepy vibe to it that just made it so much better. Justice Machine 29. The Protectors. Protectors, another Malibu title. I have a good assortment of Protectors titles. The issue of Protectors that has the hole in it. You see the bullet hole. Goes through the entire book. I don't know why you would want that. Issue number 6. 7. And 8. 9. 10. No 11, but it jumps to issue 12, which looks really weird and creepy. And then 14. So it looks like I got a pretty good run of Protectors in here, which is funny because I think I have I think the protector's books actually go in another box. Looks like these have floated over into the land they don't belong in. Grab what we can, see if we can straighten it out a little. Full box. Lid on. Gone through and done. My coffee's cold now. Anyway, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a nice week. Remember to take breaks. Rest. Don't burn yourself out doing anything. Take it easy, and that's my story. Catch you guys later.